For the throne's glory. I won't object to it. Naturally.
Too bad I'm still standing.
Alright, well the taunt works. Oh, dang, Heinrich just took a big hit.
I bring mercy and retribution. Trust me.
Let's make it quick. Let's get to it. We can make it. High momentum. But of course.
Drain life. Get him a little bit of health back. Give him extra turns.
In the name of House Orselio, I shall
Hello back.
prevail.
Hold on. My earbud just came apart. Okay. Can I fix it? Yeah. Okay.
Let's see to it. I won't. I'm done with this one.
All right. The big boy's down. Get behind cover.
Emperor, give me strength. As duty demands.
A wicked thought. Fate claims another one.
For the throne's glory. Naturally. Here we go.
A dance of blades and shadow.
Step aside. The navigator is coming. Me. If you insist, Lord Captain.
A wicked.
We just have that one guy that's up there on the high ground right now.
But of course, Lord Captain. Hold on.
Heart still beats.
I will leave footprints of scarlet.
High momentum.
Level up!
In this
Well, Pascal got to do a whole lot there. He got killed on round one.
the rogue thread.
Praise be to the Omnissiah for manifesting the statistical miracle and invalidating an unfavorable tactical prognosis. Heinrich's finest hour, he took down one of the original fallen angels. Alright, so now we take one of these other shuttles out of here. We'll deal with the level up later. I think that was the last of that little bit. Who needs 6 people to party anyway? I mean, the situation was certainly more under control once my tank had a turn and was able to start spamming taunt on the big boy. But up until then, he was just running around one-shotting people. She just freaking cut herself again? We're like in the middle of a conversation, she's like, bleed. Thanks be to the Emperor, you are alive, your lordship. We are most gratified by your return, and the crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you have. Before anything else, I will hear an account of what happened to the system's sun. The Voxmaster falters. Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approach the sun. Black creations of inhuman make, amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star, and then, my apologies, but I struggle to find words that could describe that terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void. The interrogator closes his eyes and grimaces. Drukari. You see Abelard's expression change as if a shadow has suddenly fallen over him. He rubs his temple warily, as if we did not have enough troubles on our hands already. Lord Xenos succeeded. The Xenos? Enemies of humanity? Heinrich nods. A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by the Voxmaster. Like all Xenos, the Drukari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect, and many of those creations are capable of things that may seem akin to sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of a sun is one example of what they are capable of. Is there any chance we could recover the Reichad star? Heinrichs glances at you with weary incredulity. Are you proposing that we ask for it back? No, rogue trader, the sun is lost. We must accept that as a fact and deal with the consequences. Heinrichs glances around. The situation calls for immediate action. We can continue this conversation later if you wish, but right now, he gestures at the deck teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. What is the current situation on board? The navigator's sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the engine steers. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump. Pascal's voice buzzes anxiously from Vox. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I will immediately initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of the vessel. Why did you not send a shuttle to the planet for me? I do apologize, your lordship, but we were unable to receive your request for evacuation. The Vox link was overrun with vile interference, screams, blasphemous hymns, and other equally sinister noises. Anyone who listened to the interference for a protracted period lost their sanity. Several dozen operators went mad monitoring the Voxcaster in the hope of hearing your voice. Each one of them waited in vain. What is happening on the planet now? Our augur operators are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the archenemy's powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there's practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse and assembling in prayer circles. Do we have any hope of retaking the planet? I fear that Reichad Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave this system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy of rescue. Besides the small number of our own shuttles, we also have the shuttles salvaged from the starport. The dark eyes of the Sister of Battle flash. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving the people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint and her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all our efforts to saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in hope of salvation. Pascal, the lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the Holy Relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the Electro Priests who guard and tend to it. Abelard furrows his brows. Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we put ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Reichad Minoris. The Von Valancius dynasty cannot be allowed to perish. And so lamentable though it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. Heinrich's eyes, like two deep dark pools, are remotely fixed on you. The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge toward death, the finale of the cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event, a world that had surrendered to the servants of the archenemy, and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down before those who promised them salvation, and they are willingly giving over their souls to chaos. A sacrifice great enough to bring forth a daemon world. Our only hope of stopping the process is to retreat to a safe distance from the planet and conduct targeted bombing of the Electro Priest Monastery. If we blow up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. You just had this plan in your back pocket, Batman? In doing so, we will save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death, and we will save Reichad Minoris from becoming an outpost of the archenemy. Only death can rescue these people. The Undying One has reached out his hand to his world. It is time for him to reap his harvest. We must not reject his design, lest millions of names never reach him, and instead perish in the depths of the Empyrean. Death is a mercy, Daman Mukluk. Whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple. I can see it even from orbit. As do I see the storm is already upon us. With every moment that we waste, it grows even more difficult and perilous to steer the ship through the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking. We need to get out of here while we can. I'm pretty sure the last time I played this, I evacuated as many people as I could. However, I did say we were going to try Dogmatic. Set an optimal course and carry out an orbital strike on the Electro Priest Monastery. Reichad Minoris must fall. Pascal is not gonna like this. Yes, Lord Captain. I will immediately inform the navigation and artillery decks of impending maneuver. Plus 15 dogmatic. Heinrichs inclines his head. The right choice, Lord Captain. May the sacred exterminatus cleanse this veil of corruption. The bridge is in upheaval. The Technomat's prayers mix together in a senseless cacophony while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine's components. In the middle of all of this tumult stands Pascal, with the data slate clutched in his hand, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. What is going on here? The warp sextant is not responding to commands. The ship's spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I am currently calculating a plea that might appease the noble spirit. Magos, why don't you assume control of the Technomats? Surely their contribution will speed things up. They would only be a hindrance. I am searching for a way to rectify the error. Pascal is muttering without taking his eyes off the data slate. There's a certain anxiousness to the way he moves his mechadendrites. Crew, heed the word of Magos Hanuman. Pascal, I kindly request that you take charge of this mess. Thank you, your lordship. You are right. Pascal's voice changes, then he addresses the crew. He now speaks with authority and resolve. Tech comrades, heed my instruction. The mayhem immediately subsides and the crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah's servants start working in sync and the Baneric clamor becomes a symphony of reports which the Magos coordinates like a skillful conductor. Admirably done, Pascal. The Omnissiah guides me. The prayers of the tech priest surround the cogitator, almost drown out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hand, extends a mechadendrite toward you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. Step up to the cogitator. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and endless rush of symbols and digits on the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle, the same as at the gate to the warrant chamber. So hold on a second. I've been requested to do this. Will there be another Guild Wars 2 teaser today? I am expecting one. It is uncertain, though. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Senior Technomats, recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with a campaignological protocol Omnissiah Rejoice. I must inform you that for the purposes of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating of its datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands. A minor deviation from the rite of operation for the sake of appeasing the spirit. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the Cogitator Guardian, the cyber gargoyle which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it we will offer our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, and so in this ritual I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and may we receive his blessing. Place your hand in the cyber gargoyle's mouth. How does this game compare to the Pathfinder games? Correct, I think it's fantastic. I played Pathfinder Kingmaker, I played Pathfinder the Wrath of the Righteous, and I've played this, and I think they're all fantastic. This one, of course, is Warhammer, so it's slightly different. It's not identical, but if you can enjoy a sci-fi fantasy universe, and you enjoy the Pathfinder games, I think you would enjoy this one. The metal jaws clamp down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath and releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same moment, the image of the vid screen before you changes. Great, thanks. Sure. Additionally, let me see if I can find it here. If I have a video that we made back when we first played this game called Is It Worth It? Rogue Trader. And that's a link to it right there. It just kind of summarizes the game in a few minutes and, you know, basically trying to show what it's about so that people can decide whether or not it's worth the purchase for them. You might appreciate that. Okay. See, connecting. Let's see. Wait, do I do this? Alright, gesture at the vid screen. What does it all mean? At the sound of your voice, the cogitator's servant, whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into the cogitator housing, shudders. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you and then stops in that position. Benevolent code, a voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binaric signals and then is silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal but no processed response. A temporary override is permissible. The Magos intently studies the vid screen. The shell was created on a forge world unknown to me, initiating standard invocation of the machine's spirit. Pascal leans over the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring forth from his Vox. What should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine's spirit. Speak the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data of the warp sextant. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. Demonica says, hey Muck, the balls video. Warhorn and Orb possibly. Happy 4th. Just thought I'd share my 2 cents. Back to work I go. Maybe, Demonica. There's a chance. One of the cogitator's vid screens turns red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priest, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them in the cogitator slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy censer's foul-smelling clouds of smoke and from the loss of the blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the vid screens. Suddenly, he stops dead. No. His fingers fly over the command runes, entering command after command. His mechadendrites, clicking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The vid screens fill with strings of symbols completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Bangos. Say nothing and do not interfere. After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flame and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out. The mass of errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. A moment later, the Magos continues uncertainly. Perhaps an alternate Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movement reveals his desperation. While the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal's too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Read the information on the vid screen. Input pack comp. OS stab true. OS stab false. Check init. Perturb reg. Disturb reg. Nom OS. Operate resp. Query? Query? What query? Oh. Query? What query? The cogitator's servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the binaric hymns and tapping of command rooms. Injury, rescue, query. Machine spirit, this is the Lord Captain of this vessel. Obey me and start the warp engine. Pascal's voice shakes with tension. That was a non-executable request, Lord Captain. Even if the voice receptor could interpret such a... Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vid screen begins to stabilize one after another. The strings frenetically... Dude, honestly, imagine being tech support. You just try to fix someone's computer and it just is not responding. And the person is just like, obey me! And you're like, dude, that's not gonna do... And then the computer starts doing it and you're just like, what? The strings frenetically galloping across the green background are replaced with stable images or regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest's voice crackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Registering, warp sextant activated. Registering, data stream stabilizing. Registering, 0 data errors found. Reporting, the warp engine ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I'm also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle. Category 3 miracle! Fulfilling the criterion, thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. Lord Captain, Ravor here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engine's up and raring to go. We're ready to begin the translation to the warp, your lordship. Contact Ravor. The Lord Captain speaking. I give the order to commence translation to the warp. Waiting for you to ascend the captain's throne, Lord Captain. May the Emperor protect us. That's the nuclear explosion we set off.
Now hear this. All hands prepare for warp transition. All senior staff to the bridge deck.
Yeah, maybe shield the glass windows while we're in space, maybe. Wave more incense! We need more incense!
Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void ships plunged deeper into the Coronis expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Can you imagine walking to a company server room and seeing candles and incense burners? I can't imagine not seeing it. Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orselio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibundus system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibundus system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Coronis expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp and to allow the servants of the Omnissiah to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonus, Janus, and Kiava Gamma. Excuse me, hiccups. Master Zachary Weiss has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible. Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Mukluk. I'll be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall, Muck. Once that's done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your lordship, young Yvain Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during a comprehensive system inspection right, this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Mukluk von Valancius has been added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided that he possesses the decryption key. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. Proctor Anthar has asked to inform you that he and his arbitrators will be disembarking on Footfall so that they might continue their investigation. He also wished to thank you once again for rescuing his squad and sends his assurances that the Marshal will hear of the invaluable assistance you provided. Are you leaving us, Henrix? The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no further. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have. I hope we meet again. True servants of the Emperor are always welcome aboard my ship. Heinrich regards you with a curious look and a polite smile. An interrogator of the Inquisition seldom gets to hear such words. Thank you for your hospitality, Muck. I will not forget it. Argenta, who is this Reverend Hieronymus who wants to talk to me? He is the head of the Drusian mission on Footfall and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your voyage ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. The shed blood has washed away the taint from our bodies. It is only right that we now wash our souls with the blessings of the servants of the Undying One. The Drusians, like the blood-spun web, are devoted to asceticism, rejecting wealth and luxury and surrendering themselves to his service. Though their thread is different from ours, the first spinner spoke of them with respect. Abelard, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Vladimir Takara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming in conversation a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Takara is the appointee of the Kasbalika mission, the largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calaxis sector. They specialize in the cold trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions all at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladimir Takara, while appointment benefited not only the Kasbalika, but also the most powerful ally in the Cronus Expanse, rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Vladimir is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Kasbalikan hierarchy. Keep all of this in mind. You are a rogue trader, you stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Kasbalikan barons cross swords with rogue traders and emerge victorious. Do not forget that and remain vigilant. The Kasbalika, vile tech thieves. Pascal's Vox barks out the last word like a profanity. Vigdis, tell me about the system we are arriving in. Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is known mostly for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Coronis Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off-limits to outsiders. Altar Templum Calaxis EXT-17. I had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. If a cycle is a day, that would be like 6+ years. I suggest you abstaining from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. What do I need to know about Footfall? It is the largest port and trading capital of the Coronis Expanse. It has a dockyard that will allow us to inspect and repair the Void Ship, and it boosts its own astropathic choir, the Coronis Expanse Communications Nexus. Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Cronus Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds, but so long as Footfall serves the God Emperor insofar as it can, it will be considered a citadel of the Imperium. Although I have heard that the tithes it sends are underwhelming to say the least. Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the Rogue